listener.
I've got so many amazing women around me supporting me, people that I do lean on for advice if I ask, if I need it. And Janine has always said to me, Abs, your life doesn't stop when you have a baby. Like they just magnify it and they make it so much better. You unlock a new level of superhuman.
You do, don't you? Oh, you do. Abby, welcome back to the pod.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I think last time we caught up, so much has happened, or since then. I think we've all had babies, Steph, yourself and I, and there's plenty to catch up on.
There is, because now Braxy is 10 months old, 10 months old.
10 and a bit now, which has gone so fast. He's blowing my mind every single day just with the things that he's learning and how quickly he's growing, but he just makes me smile. I'm so obsessed with being his mum, and it's certainly been the most incredible time of our lives.
I'm so happy to hear that. And I think as well, and we're going to go into this later, but we spoke a lot about on mic, but also off mic, around our fears of being, when you're very, very driven with your career.
Yeah.
You put a lot in, you work very, very hard. Maybe some of our worth is tied to working very hard.
Yeah.
The fear of losing that and going into motherhood and like how it will be is big.
Absolutely it is. And being a mum first and foremost is something that I've always wanted and I've always hoped and envisaged that it would be a part of my journey. But I'm also somebody who's worked so incredibly hard to be where I am and to have, now be in the position where I am on the work front. I've always been very career focused, very driven, very hard working and just relentless in my approach to my career. So I knew as soon as I, fell pregnant that it was going to be an amazing journey, but I didn't know how it was going to affect me. And I've always said to everybody along this journey that I just need to feel it. Like it's all well and good for me to say I'm going to work up until he's about due and I'm going to come back as quickly as I possibly can. But for me, it was all about feeling, and I was so grateful to have the support of Channel 7 and everybody in the workspace that was allowing me just to go through this for the first time. But in saying that, I'm still as driven, I'm still as focused, I'm still as hardworking as I have ever been now. Brax has just made me so much hungrier, I guess, to show him that hard work can breed success.
Oh, it's so beautiful. There's so much. Okay, I want to get into that deeper, but not yet.
Yep.
So before maybe we get into what it's been like since you have become Brax's mum, are you able to share, because before we were all in the bathroom, Steph, you and I, Steph was heading out and you just walked in and I said to Steph, wait, have we spoken about Abby's birth story on the podcast yet? And then you walked into the toilet. But you haven't. And so I wondered if that would be something that you could share with us, because I know you haven't spoken about that publicly.
Yeah. No, Keeks and I haven't actually spoken about our birth story, and to be honest, it's been quite hard. I think people look at social media and you send out the announcement photos and it looks so happy and joyful. But for us, our experience was anything but. So I was getting induced at 38 weeks because Brax was measuring quite large. So all locked in for arrival at the hospital 5 p.m. on a Thursday evening, and then they would start the induction process for the Friday. And Keegs, the night before we were admitted to hospital, woke up uncontrollably shaking, like he was freezing. And I was like, it's not that cold in here.
You're also probably thinking like, I'm about to go into labour. Like, not you.
Yeah. So you're thinking about everything on top of that, going, you cannot get sick.
Of course.
And my mind automatically went to COVID. He's got COVID. He's going to get locked out of the hospital and I'm going to have to go through this on my own. Anyway, I went and got the tests straight away the next morning and negative across the board. So that was great. But he was in a very bad way. So we went into hospital. He was putting on a brave face. I had the gel inserted, and then they kind of start the induction process from there. Had a really rough night, but then everything's go time, from 7 a.m. on the Friday morning.
So that was similar, I think, to what Steph did. So was your birth plan to have vaginal birth, or you didn't?
Yes. I was going to try.
Yep.
Yep. I really wanted to try and see how I went. So I was in labour all day, kind of from 7
a.m.
Yep, 7 a.m. to kind of 5 p.m. But I was 2 centimetres dilated at 7 a.m. and I was 2 centimetres dilated at 5 p.m. So he had a huge head that just wasn't moving. So we ultimately made the decision to go for an emergency C-section, which is fine. I was happy with that. I always said to my OB, I'm guided by you. Whatever is, the safest way to get him here. And poor Keegs, we went in to have the caesarean. He cut the cord and then disappeared. Like my husband disappeared. And I said to the midwife, I'm like, where's Keegs? She looked at me and she was like, Habs, we've got another patient. He's just collapsed on the bed next door. So Braxy was born. We knew Keegs was in a bad way. We didn't know what he had, so we couldn't have him around his son. And Keegs ultimately drove himself to emergency at Epworth in Richmond. So I was at Freemasons, he was at Richmond, and he ended up in hospital for 4 days. He had a severe bowel infection. He was grey, like literally. The midwives are like, Abbey, he's lost all colour. He's grey. Just get him to hospital. So what's meant to be this most incredible, love bubble of emotion with your husband and your newborn baby, I was one out in hospital for 5 days and Keegs didn't get to hold his son for that entire time. So that was heartbreaking. And it was really hard because I had this perfect little bundle of joy in my arms and he was great. Everything to do with my kind of, post-birth experience was great in the hospital and I had so much love and support around me from the midwives and the nurses and everybody at the hospital. But my mind went to Keegan, who was sleeping 20 hours a day. I'm trying to send him videos and photos and I'm not hearing back. And I was emotional thinking that, he was, something life, ending. You know what it's like when your emotions are already high.
Oh my God, your hormones. Our hormones are literally crazy at that time.
So I'm thinking I'm going to be a single mum and worst case scenario for Keegs.
God.
And anyway, so that was our first 5 days of having Braxy. And it was funny, I put up a photo the day that we were leaving to go to hospital and I had this big belly and Keegs was grey, right? He was grey and I didn't pick up on it at the time. And then I took another photo in the exact same position, holding Brax in my arm, like a before and after, and he had his colour back. And so many people have commented on that, being like, oh my God, what's wrong with Keegan? He hasn't had a baby. And we've never spoken about that. So we've never spoken that he was actually in hospital and missed those first kind of 5 days with Brax. But we certainly made up for it after that. So yeah, it was a really challenging time, but the most beautiful time at the same time.
That is, first of all, I'm so sorry. There's a lot to take in there. I can't imagine. I think it's one of the things that I've just feel so much and I've never felt so much to be true in experiencing motherhood is that two things can be true at once. And so you can be in this moment where you've just met your baby and you're full of joy and you're so grateful, but also at the same time it be one of the hardest times of your life because you didn't know if your husband was going to meet your baby.
No.
That is...
Yeah, that was really hard. And, as I said, it was a severe bowel infection. He was in a very bad way. But we didn't know that at the time. So they're running tests every day. Keys is sleeping 20 hours, as I said. He was in a very, very, very bad way in hospital. My mum, thank goodness she was down from Darwin, but was literally going from hospital to see me.
Was she doing, because I was going to say, who was doing the updates for you? Was it your mum or was it Keegs through text message? But if he's asleep most of the time, you must have just been so worried.
So worried. And I rang the hospital so many times and I just bawled and I just kept saying, oh God, it's making me emotional going back there. But I just said, I've just had a baby yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Like I just want an update on my husband. And yeah, that was the hardest part about everything for us was that Braxy was perfect. Brax was perfect. Like this perfect, healthy, happy little boy born into the world and then my husband wasn't there. So as I said, we got through it. And we did make up for it. But yeah, that's not how I envisaged my first birth experience playing out.
And just that he cut the umbilical cord and then...
So he put on such a brave face until he got through. And we weren't sure, you're kind of in labour all day. We weren't sure if it was going to come at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. and I was going to have any, significant movement from my dilation. Yeah. But he just put on such a brave face all day.
And do you think also if you're next to a woman in labour I do feel like that would be the hardest time to advocate, like to talk up about your own health.
Yes.
When you've spoken about it, like when you said to him, like, why didn't you go earlier? Was he like, well, he wouldn't have wanted to leave you, but also you were in labour.
Yeah, no, there's no way that he
for 12
wanted to
hours
miss that.
and then like had 2 centimetres of dilation because of the head size. Like,
I know, he had a big noggin, bless him.
So did Atlas. Atlas was he was a 99th percentile. So same fellow large head baby.
Large head babies. It was never going to work. But he didn't want to miss it. He didn't want to miss it for the world. But in saying that, we were also, both of us, getting really worried because we didn't know what he had.
Yes.
And you're bringing a newborn baby into the world whose immune system is non-existent at that point in time. So that was scary as well, thinking we can't actually have you around your newborn son. You need to go. And that was probably the hardest part of my entire birth experience.
What did you do at night? Because that's what, I had a cesarean as well. And at night, the first 2 nights, you can't really get up and move around very much. So did the nurses help you? Because that must have been so hard.
Yeah, and being one out in hospital for the first 5 nights, that was tough. But they also, the incredible staff at Freemasons also recognised my situation and they helped, probably went over and above what was expected from them in their roles. So the first couple of nights I definitely had him there with me and I wanted him there with me, but I wasn't sleeping at all. And not just because he was fine. He was all newborns really do with sleep, isn't it? So he was great, but I'm not sleeping because I'm so worried about my husband. And for the following few nights, they took him into the nursery and unless he needed me for a feed, they would just look after him and nurse him and make sure he was sleeping well. So I'm forever grateful for that support that I did get. And the fact that my mum was down from Darwin too, because we don't have any family support here in Melbourne. So, as I said, poor thing, she's going from hospital to hospital and taking jocks to kegs from his hospital bag with me. So, it was a very challenging time.
I'm so sorry to hear that. How did you, when you got home, did you get home at the same time as Keeks?
So he got out of hospital the day before and then I was getting out, the following day. But I had the few nights experience at the hotel as part of the hospital stay. So I actually booked an extra 2 nights, just so that Keeks could have that 4-wall experience with a newborn, not at home. He didn't get it in the hospital. So I just felt like it was so important for us to stay in the hotel for another couple of nights in the 4 walls. And Brax didn't leave his chest. I was like, here, I've had these 5 days with him. And not that he had catching up to do or anything, but it was certainly emotional for him to not have those first few days with him. That was hard.
Well, how did he explain the first moment when he put him on his chest?
It was so special.
This makes me want to start crying.
I know. I'm very emotional as I said, we've never talked about this before. But I think there was still there was a level of caution because when Keeks was out of hospital, we still didn't have his full diagnosis. So, it's not like he could easily just put Brax on his chest and think, oh, we're great, we're fine. He can't catch anything that I have. So there was still that level of caution, which sucked. Yeah. So, not how I envisaged it and not how Keeks envisaged it. But as I said, having those 2 extra nights in the hotel, just us as a family of 3, that was really special.
And then when you got home, did you have a protected bubble for a certain amount of time to be able to try and kind of have that experience?
Yeah, so Keeks took the first 2 weeks off of work completely, but his first week was in hospital. So Hawthorn, he works at the Hawthorn Footy Club, but they were so great, in allowing him to take some extra time. And he went back after that just on main training days with the AFLW program. So he certainly had the support and the love and care around him as well. But I just keep saying we made up for it. We made up for it. It was that when he got there and Brax had his dad, it's just the best time of my life, as I said. But it was really challenging in the days before that.
And not something I think when you think about a lot of people going into birth have a lot of fear around it because it is unknown. Things can go wrong. And I think a lot of us process what that – and that was one of the main reasons I had a cesarean, because I wanted to be in as much control as possible.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us process what could go wrong with us and with the baby. And I don't think we would spend a second thinking about what if something went wrong with our partner.
The husband. And that's what Keeks was embarrassed as well.
So he's like...
Yeah, but when your wife's in labour and she's the one that's, bringing your son into the world, like he didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to show any weakness because I'm the one that,
of course,
his whole focus was on me. But it got to the stage on the Friday when Braxy was born that he had to pull my OB aside and say, I'm in a very bad way here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to do. Like, give us advice. Do I need to go? Is it okay that I'm here? Can I hold my son? No. Okay, don't touch your son. All right, you need to go to hospital. Go. So it does break my heart that was his experience, but hopefully, I pray that one day we get to bring another little baby into this world and it's completely different to that. So we'll see.
Wow. You just would never have predicted it or been at all prepared for that to happen.
No, and that's where I think, you look at social media and it is such an amazing tool, but it can be such a highlights reel. I mean, we put out this beautiful announcement post and, had so much love and support thrown our way, but, that experience was anything but what we had ever imagined it would be. But yeah, in saying that, I'm now, 10 months postpartum and Braxy's thriving and Keegs is thriving as a dad and we're happy to talk about it. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
It's okay, yeah. No, thank you for providing the space for me to share that because, as I said, it's never something that we've felt comfortable talking about before because it was really uncomfortable.
Oh, of course.
But now we can look back on it and go, oh, that was a unique experience, wasn't it? So,
unique is one word for it.
I know. Anyway.
And since then, so you just mentioned your 10 months postpartum. What was your postpartum period like? And we're going to talk about, you went back into your media.
Yes.
Why I woke up at 4:30, but it was Atlas woke me up, but then I didn't go back to sleep because of me. So
okay.
I can't blame him.
Yeah.
But you went back out onto the ground.
Yes.
Commentating.
Yeah.
Do you call it commentating on the ground?
Yeah, in my commentary role.
Role? Perfect.
Sorry, I should have jumped in and helped you earlier.
Let me get there. At about 7 weeks, is that right? So I would love to talk to you about that. But before we get to that, can you talk through what was the first 7 weeks, like before that, postpartum, post coming home, post Keeks being better, like for you guys and your feeding journey? And
I just want to start as well by saying I'm going to speak openly and honestly about my experience because probably I came into motherhood a little bit naive and probably blissfully unaware with the amount of feedback and advice and commentary that there is around and, people's opinions that get bestowed upon you. So I'm going to speak about myself and our experience, but mine has been pure bliss. I'm so lucky that I had a wonderful pregnancy. I've had a wonderful postpartum experience, and I know that I am in a lucky position to say that because so many people have terrible pregnancies and they're in and out of hospital and they can't eat and they're on the floor and wrapped around a toilet bowl, and that wasn't my experience.
You did the New York Marathon. I just would like to, anyone that didn't listen to the last episode, or if you did, I just would like to remind everyone, Abbey did you didn't know you were pregnant.
I didn't know.
Were you 8 or 12 weeks?
8 weeks.
Abbey did the New York Marathon at 8 weeks pregnant, which is, so you were feeling fine. Like, you can't do a marathon if you're not feeling fine.
I didn't know, and we only found out at about 12 weeks.
And
so
it was because you didn't like coffee. Was that right?
Yes, I went completely off coffee, and that is my muse. I'm such a coffee gal, so I knew that the second I went off that something wasn't quite right.
But that was the only thing.
That was the only thing.
Amazing.
So we missed that first trimester completely. So it made for a shorter pregnancy, 6 months. I was feeling great my entire pregnancy, so I actually worked up until 37 weeks, so the week before Braxy was born. Once again, I needed to feel it. I always said to Gaz, my boss at 7, with the AFL, like I just need to feel it. If I feel shit house at 32 weeks, let's pull the pin. If I'm feeling good up until I'll keep working, and I did. Stopped working a week before he was born, and then
Can I ask you, that week before he was born, those days that you had off, how did you find them?
Weird, because normally my weeks are so structured around how I prep for work and everything that I've got coming up on the weekends with footy, and I got to just sit back and prepare.
And you that was good?
It was good. As I said, it was strange.
Yeah.
It was weird. And knowing that I had however long I wanted to take off, I had the support from Seven. If I wanted to not work for 12 months, no worries, Abs. That's what you want to do, and we'll support you with that. If you want to come back in 6 months, no worries. If you want to come back in 6 weeks, then we'll support you with that. I'm so grateful that I had so much support from my workplace going into the unknown for me. But, that first 7 weeks was just amazing. I was just fully, just immersed with Brax and this newborn phase, and it's the best time of my life. But I think when I knew that I had made the decision that I was going to go back after 7 weeks, that probably hit me emotionally.
What made you feel ready?
It's hard to explain, but I just felt like it was the right time. And as I said, I've always been somebody that's so driven and so hungry and so career focused. And my work, first and foremost, brings me so much joy and fulfillment. So I know that if I'm feeling the joy and I'm feeling the fulfillment, then I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to be the best wife. I'm going to be the best mum, because I'm still getting my fix at the same time. And that was really important. I needed to feel that as well. But when I had made the decision that I was coming back to work, that hit me, because I was already feeling like, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going to ruin him? Am I going to affect him in any way, shape or form? Is he happy? Is he not happy? Is Keeks going to be okay? And I know Keeks is completely fine, but it's still something that runs through your mind. And then when I went back at 7 weeks, I definitely wasn't prepared for the amount of backlash that I copped as a new mum, and that added to the emotion and the worry and the concern that I had already had on myself as that mum guilt. So that was probably, one of the hardest parts of it for me. And as I said, I was blissfully unaware, because I just thought that everybody's journey is different and everybody's journey is celebrated, and we should all embrace the individual kind of experiences that we have. I mean, your pregnancy, your journey, your postpartum journey, everything is different to mine, and it's different to the next person's. So the amount of pile-on for people saying that I'm a terrible mum, and the hardest thing for me was when people were questioning my commitment and my dedication to my son, and that wasn't fair for somebody that was already feeling, those things when you are going back to work. So, that was challenging. But in saying that, looking back now, I wouldn't have changed any of that for the world. I want to, as I said, the joy and fulfillment that I get through my work and what I do, I genuinely love doing what I do. But I also want to show my son that, hard work breeds success. Nothing in this world comes easy. You've got to hustle and you've got to grind and you've got to work incredibly hard for what you want in this life. And I'm really proud of that message that I'm sending him now.
I'm so sorry you had to navigate that. I remember when that was happening, I was just sending it to Steph, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is, you've made the decision based on what's going to work for your life, your family. Also, you wouldn't have gone back full time. When you went back on week 7, what did you go back to? Like, how many hours was it?
So I went back Friday nights, and I think that was lost on a lot of the Australian public.
People were and I was saying, like, you went back one night a week. Yeah. One night. Yeah. So it means that day you would have been with your son. Also, newborn sleep a lot. He probably would have been asleep like for most of the game. Like he's completely fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Who was he with at that time? Was he with your mum or with Keegs?
No, with Keegs.
Yeah, so he's with his dad, and this is the thing. Like, dads go back to work after 2 weeks, and I think that's something that I think for a lot of dads is actually really difficult. I also think it makes it much harder to make a connection with the child in the way that a mother does, because the child isn't as reliant on the dad in some instances, if they go back to work, because it's like they don't build that. Because if you're like, okay, my partner's going back to work in 2 weeks, he might not learn how to do all the things because he's like, I'm not going to be here to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So there's that. But most dads go back after 2 weeks, and there's no commentary about that. Like, when once would football media is quite male dominated.
Yes.
When would one football media person going back, also players like the baby comes and sometimes they play.
Yes.
At the same time. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they play.
Yeah.
If that was the woman couldn't play. That would be
but the double standards.
The double standards are like, sorry for my French, but fucked. Like it is so unfair. And so you went back to work one Friday night.
Yeah.
And that was for how many hours that was.
Yeah.
He is with his dad. He's so safe. His dad is so capable of looking after him.
His dad is amazing.
And doing like skin to skin time, all of those things that calming the baby's, actually forming their nervous system and all of those things like that can happen with the male, if it's a heterosexual relationship with the dad.
Yeah. One of the comments that grinds my gears the most, and I copped it a lot, was, dad's on babysitting duties.
Oh my God, babysitting your own child.
I'm sorry, but a dad doesn't babysit their children, and Keegs is the most incredible dad, and I'm so proud of him and the way that he's taken to this new role. But that's just right. Like I've traditionally been somebody who's really structured with the way that I prep, and I like to be structured, whereas when I had Braxy, all of that was thrown out the window. I just had to feel it. I had to navigate it. That was tough because, as I said, for years and years and years prior, I know exactly what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, what it needs to look like for me to feel prepared going into a game. Whereas when I have a newborn in my arms, I'm traditionally a writer as well. So if I write things down, it sticks. So that's the way that I consume information. So all of a sudden, I'm holding a newborn, I'm writing notes in my phone because I had one hand free. So I just had to find this new and what that might look like and what that might feel like. But it just taught me that I'm capable. Like, you don't need everything to be perfect in the way that you prepare for work. And that's traditionally how my mindset had been. Like, it always felt really just uncomfortable if I hadn't ticked every box during the week. Whereas Brax taught me, no, you know your shit. You know what to do. You're good at your job, and you can go out there and perform. But as I said, the amount of backlash with people questioning your commitment and dedication to your child is not okay. And every postpartum journey, every return to work pathway is different for everyone in this situation. So I just felt that was so unwarranted and so unfair on somebody who was already just navigating this new normal and already asking those questions of myself, if it's right, if he's okay. So that just certainly added to a bit of the anxiety around that. But in saying that, I'm so proud of the way that we have navigated this as a family. Like, Keegs is just the ultimate teammate. We don't have any immediate family here in Melbourne, which is tricky considering we both work in the football industry. We both know that it's effectively 24/7, that there's always news happening and there's always information that you need to take on. He's got a new role this year as the general manager of the AFLW program at Hawthorn, so he's navigating the new role. But he's just the best. He's the best teammate that I could ever ask for, the best husband, the best dad, and I certainly wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing without him, and vice versa.
It's so nice to hear. And it is, you have to be a team. If you're not a team,
you have to be a team.
There's some bad words exchanged.
Yes. and along the journey as well, the last 10 months, there has been challenging moments for us where you feel like you're not the best teammates. But you just need to hug it out, you need to talk it out, and you need to come back together.
Exactly. I want to ask you, Abbey, in that time when you went back to work, people obviously was having these, and what I think is so unfair as well, I feel like you became the poster woman for someone going back to work, like in in a way that people thought was, in quotation marks, so everyone listening, too early, right?
Yeah.
And putting your career before your baby. Like, I just feel like the projection that was centered on you was like, you were the only person that has, like, I came back to the podcast after 5 weeks. I was here for 4 hours. No one, I didn't get that, right?
Yeah.
And I think because it's a media, it's the, also I think as well, like your audience and the football audience is every single person, they don't know you super, like I just feel like and they also feel like they probably are entitled to project onto you, right?
Yeah.
Which is so unfair and so wild. How did you, knowing that you were already struggling with the guilt, that is because of the chemistry that changes in our brain, right? Like, it's like you feel like you have to be with the child 24/7, otherwise something's going to happen, and it's absolutely not the case at all. How did you overcome that? Because when you're not, like, you're already feeling shaky about something, and also when you're coming back to, like, the fact that you spoke on live TV after 7 weeks after giving birth is fucking incredible. But you're just talking to a baby all day.
Yeah.
Social skills, that for me was the thing I found the hardest.
Yep, I agree.
How did you do that?
Yeah. I think as well, you just touched on it, but working in such a public-facing role, I couldn't hide. It's not like I was going to the office for a few hours and not, posting or, mentioning it to anyone or not allowing it to consume any mental, space. But when you're on live television on a Friday night and there's 1 million people watching at home, everyone knows that you're back at work. And we, at 7, we didn't make a big hoo-ha about it. We didn't want that. I certainly didn't want that attention and interest because, as I said, I was already feeling these things and I didn't want, 7 to go promoting it or anything like that. But I think it was hard at the time, yes, but I think you need to come back to your why you're doing these things, what's important to you, your situation, your circumstances. This was the best thing for me and my family. I had KICS support the entire time. In my mind, I thought maybe I was going to come back earlier, whereas he was like, no, take the time, just feel it. Like, I keep coming back to feeling it because that's what I've always said to people was that I just needed to feel this for the first time. But I think being really certain and sure about your journey, every single journey is different. And I don't think that we should draw comparison. And there was a lot of that. I mean, Judy, born in, 1950, bless, having her opinion to say this is what she did back then when she had babies and it's her way or the highway and there's no other right way.
Judy's child might be in therapy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's impossible to be perfect anyway, you know?
That's what I mean. And one thing that people don't know a lot about is how I've navigated this. I mean, Brax has often come with me to work.
So I saw the other day, it was actually the same, I think maybe you posted like on the weekend. It was the gather round.
Yeah.
And that Tuesday I was going to Sydney for my first time with Atlas on a plane.
Yes,
and I saw you said you love doing it, but you do it by yourself with him. And you go, and I was like, you are amazing. And it gave me confidence to be like,
I love that.
I brought my mum with me on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we did an in and out in one day, which for Atlas's first flight, I was like, this is a large day for a baby.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like I can do this.
I love
Abby's
that.
doing it.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
So how do you do it?
Nice. So Brax had been to 5 countries by the time he was 7
Little
months.
king. I love it.
Little king. I took him overseas for the first time at 4 months. We went to the Maldives. Keegs didn't come. And then we came back through Singapore for some work for me. He goes where I go. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I remember I hosted the Brownlow red carpet last year and I posted photos of me getting ready in the dress and the jewels and the shoes and the stylist and thank you to the team and that kind of post and I got smashed.
Oh my God, was everyone like, oh my God, where's your baby?
Yeah, there was I was looking at it yesterday actually. Somebody said, how about you actually spend some time with your baby? You blah, 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 beep, 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 beep. And my baby was 2 meters to my left.
Of course.
Not in a photo, but he's right there with me, side by side. And I think that's lost on a lot of people as well. I'm not leaving my son at home on his own. He's with me, or he's with his dad, or is with people who love him, like his family, like his nanny and pa and, grandparents. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I've made so many amazing memories being on the road with him and travelling with him and working with him. He had his first day at the MCG only a few weeks ago, and when I was working, and that for me was so special. And I'm gonna, just hold that so close to my heart forever. And as I said, I wouldn't change a thing because I just want to show him that you're capable of anything that you set your mind to.
And it's what you keep coming back to, and it's how you feel and what felt right for you. That is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
What feels right for you. How do you have someone who comes with you? Like, what do you have a nanny, or like how did you navigate it?
Yeah. So it's funny, even when I took Braxio to the Maldives at 4 months, I would have loved for Keegan to come, but it didn't quite work out.
Especially with his work as well.
Yes, yeah. It was during AFLW season, so he couldn't pack up and head overseas. I was so lucky. It was for Janine Alice's 60th, who's the ultimate boss woman. So turning 60, we went big. We went over to the Maldives. So I had Janine Alice, I had Pia Miranda, I had Sian Coombs, and I had Lydia Lassala all there.
Oh my God, queen aunties.
Oh my God.
Could you have a better set of aunties?
And that's the thing. I've got so many amazing women around me supporting me, people that I do lean on for advice if I ask, if I need it. And Janine has always said to me, Abs, your life doesn't stop when you have a baby. Like they just magnify it and they make it so much better. You find out, you unlock a new level of superhuman.
You do, don't you?
Yeah,
oh,
you're capable of so much more than you know. And I feel that. I feel that with Brax. But sorry, I've gone off topic. What was the question?
Do you have someone that comes with you?
So last year, I've had one of my best friends, Ree, was actually working for me for the last 5 years. She was full-time last year. So she helped when Braxy was born. I had some extra hands and she is such a wonderful auntie to Brax. But we don't have that kind of family support here. So as I said, when I travel with him, Adelaide's easy for us because it's where all of our family are. And I've got a list of people that want to look after him, which is great whilst I'm working. And then this year, only as of kind of a month ago, I've got Brax in daycare, which was another thing that people wanted to have an opinion on. But we need that support. So he's in there just 2 days a week just so that I can get my head around work for the weekend. And that time is really important, I think, for me, just to feel like I'm on top of it heading into a live television situation.
Oh, of course. It is. It's the work, the pre-work that maybe you with a baby. And it also, like, some people's babies will sleep for, like, Steph and I were just doing an episode about sleep. Billy's currently sleeping 2 hours in the middle of the day. It is always on routine. Like Atlas does not sleep in his cot. He sleeps for 15 minutes and it takes me like so long to get him down. I'm like, I will not, you can say on me. Otherwise we've wasted all the rocking. Yeah. But I'm not getting much time in the day. So that I'm really struggling with to then I'm going into things feeling underprepared, which is hard for me because I relate to so much the way that what you've been talking about.
Yeah.
So that's so important. But I wanted to ask you on that point, when you said, because I relate to this very much, how you didn't use the word healing, but I wonder if it has been healing for you in knowing that you don't need to do as much preparation as you did before because you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But you still go and you do just as good or probably a better job because it's like every time we do something, we get better at it.
Yeah.
When you do your work than you did before. Yeah. How has that been? Because I know so many people listening that might be thinking about having kids and be really scared that if they are perfectionists or, really very driven and very worried about not having the same time to prepare for things and put into their work, that it will make them less than.
Yeah. I think healing's a great word and it's certainly done that for me because I am a perfectionist. I'm so hard on myself when I make mistakes, which I shouldn't be. Everyone makes mistakes. But I just have really high expectations of myself. And then coming into motherhood and having Brax, I think he has taught me to not sweat the small stuff. Mistakes are okay. Mistakes are where you learn and where you grow. I'm somebody who is always lent into doing hard shit. I love it. Like I genuinely love being really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think you're crazy. Like like some of the stuff that you have done is like when you were doing. I remember you were we spoke about in the last episode, but when you were telling me about when you were starting your career in football or in commentating, and you would do your job as a real estate agent in Darwin like 6 days a week, and then take the red eye and like you funded it yourself, and you told them you lived in Melbourne to get it done, and you're like. Most people would be like, oh, this is too hard. But you were like, no, I can take a flight and I'm going to make it work. Yeah. So, you do hard shit. You also did SAS. Was that SAS?
Yes, that was brutal. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. But I'm somebody who loves being uncomfortable and I love leaning into hard shit when majority of people would run the other way. And that is something, I guess, that I can use with motherhood as well. And I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, but something that might be seem too hard or be too hard for one person might be something that I go, righto, that's a challenge and I'm going to attack it head on. And I think that's been my approach with motherhood as well, like taking a 4-month-old overseas for the first time on your own and then going to Singapore off the back of that for a work gig. And, he's been in Sri Lanka, Fiji, like he's
well-travelled.
He's well-travelled. He's done over 20-odd flights and he's, 10 months old. But I love leaning into hardship because it's where you learn so much about yourself and it's where all of the growth and the development happens. I mean, everyone's seen that little image of, where the magic happens outside your comfort zone. Like that's a never rung truer with me. And I think when it comes to Brax too, this might be an unpopular opinion.
That's okay. We have plenty of them here.
Yeah. To you or your listeners or anybody that might have been on this show before, but I will never say that becoming a mum has been hard. I will say that there are gigantic, massive, huge challenges that present when it comes to parenthood and becoming a mum for the first time. But when I look at his face, and I look at him and I can recognise if he's happy, if he's sad, if he's tired, his wants, his needs. Nothing is too hard on this earth for that little boy. So I will never say that it's hard because nothing's too hard for him, and I will do whatever it possibly takes. I will walk to the end of this earth for that little boy. But there are huge challenges, as we know, sleep deprivation being just one.
It's like the challenges of any. Like obviously parenting is a job, like it's any job that doesn't ever stop, like literally the job is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, has challenges. Like anything that you did that much, of course fatigue is going to be a challenge. Okay, of course there's going to be challenges within that.
And I should just say as well that's my language. That's something that I've done within myself to say I don't want to say that anything's hard when it comes to him because nothing is too hard on this earth for that.
But that's true to you, and you can say that.
To me.
I don't need to take that. Like I've said, motherhood can be hard before, but I don't take that. I don't take that personally because
just a change in language.
Just exactly right. Like it's like a different. Someone might call it a challenge, hard, interchange. Some might not. Like that's no. I think that I hope we're getting to a place now in this world where someone can say something. Yeah. And if it's not exactly how we've done or what we think that doesn't impact us.
Definitely. And, I think and I hope that it's okay for me to sit here and say that I'm really proud of myself.
Oh, my God. Absolutely. That is okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, in society, sometimes people go, oh, don't say that. It's like, no. The last 10 months have been challenging. They've been the best time of my life. And I'm so, oh God, listen to me. And I'm just really proud of myself and the way that I've continued to show up, to be the best possible mum that I can be. And I think that I'm a great mum, whilst also still continuing to chase my dreams and my goals. Oh God, listen to my voice, it's gone. But I just think that it's so important to instill that in my little boy as well. Yeah.
You're amazing, and you should be so proud. Motherhood is challenging, and I think when every layer on top of it that you add, because it's a new role and hat that we wear in our lives.
We're all navigating this for the first time.
But when we continue to wear the other hats all at the same time, it is a lot. And you have done it you've shown everyone that you can do it.
And
because you've wanted to, right? Some people aren't going to want to do that, and that is okay, but you want to, and you have done it.
And that's where I'm such a firm believer that a career and becoming a mum and parenthood can coexist. They can coexist. They can absolutely coexist if you want them to. As you said, if you don't want to, that's so fine. And I celebrate everybody's journeys. But for me, I think I'm living proof that they can coexist, and that's my journey, and that's my dreams and my aspirations whilst being a great mum at the same time. So,
what would you say, Abbey, to anyone listening that might be thinking about having kids and be on the fence, and one of their biggest fears is that they will lose their drive and their career?
Yeah. I don't think that you certainly won't lose those things. They are instilled in you as an individual, and that is who you are as a person. And I think, my motherhood experience of becoming a mum for the first time has only, I guess, made that aspect to my life even more fierce. I as I said, going into parenthood, I wasn't sure how it was going to affect me. If I wanted to, sit back and not work for a year or two or three or whatever that might have looked like. But it's only made me even more hungry to continue to chase my dreams. And because ultimately everything that I do is for him. Everything that I'm doing today, it's for him. It's for my husband. It's for myself. The joy and the happiness and the fulfillment that I get from doing what I do. So I think if you are a mum, in this situation, you were exactly this. Oh, sorry. If you are an aspiring mum, you were in this situation as well.
It's my alarm telling me to take my breast milk out of the fridge and not forget it. Don't
forget it. It's liquid gold. It is liquid gold. But now having felt it myself, it is only just added to the fire in the belly. And I just want to be the very best version of myself. I want to be the very best mum. I want to be the very best wife. And I think that having felt this, as I said, it's just made me even more hungrier to chase those dreams and goals.
You're amazing. And I think too, for people listening, you also, it is a privilege to love your job as much as you do. I am sure that, Channel 7 will be listening to this, I'm sure. We've
got Billy.
Billy's here now.
Billy's in the foyer.
Abby, I was going to say you'd probably do it for free, but I was like, no, you won't do it for free because, obviously.
No, I genuinely, I say that all the time. I joke about it.
It's one of those things that you love football so much.
Yeah.
You have this amazing rapport with all of the players. You connect with them. It's like you are where you're meant to be. And again, two things can be true at once. You're where you're meant to be when you're with Braxy, and you're where you're meant to be when you're at work. And that's really special.
Definitely. I'm so fortunate to be in the position where, that old saying of love what you do and you never work a day in your life. I just love footy. I love my team. I love, everybody that I work with on screen and behind the scenes at 7. We've just got such an amazing crew that make working every weekend just so much fun. And I think on that as well, if I didn't love what I was doing as much, I don't know. I don't know if I would have this same experience. Of course I wouldn't have this same experience. So I'm just so grateful for the support and the love and the care that I've been shown. Brax has, Guernseys and scarves and beanies and books from pretty much all 18 clubs across the competition. I've felt the love far and wide across the AFL industry, which has been amazing. He's going to be very confused as well. He's going to have a Bulldogs Guernsey.
Which team is he going to – wait, will he go for – who do you go for?
Adelaide,
of course.
Yeah, yep. So,
but what about Hawthorn?
This is tricky because obviously his dad is at Hawthorn. He spends a lot of time at the club with family days and whatnot, whereas I played for Adelaide and, he's got memberships at the Crows and Hawthorn. So I think in my mind I've said whoever wins a premiership first.
Yeah, he can go for it. That's perfect. Perfect.
Can be who he supports. But no, I just love this life, Laws. I just love this life and, I'm so fortunate to be in the position where I genuinely do love getting up every day and just rolling into whatever life throws at me. And, hopefully Keegs and I are lucky enough in the future to experience another birth story that might be a little bit different to
with Keegs in good health the
by
entire
my side.
time. Yes.
And Braxy does, he makes me want a million. He is just.
Did you? So I had the day that I had Atlas, I said to Dalton, I think we need to have 8 children.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you?
Do you know what? This is a topic
Which
of
before
conversation.
that I was like, well, I think we'll be 1.
Yeah. No, he makes me want as many as I can possibly have, which is crazy. If I could have another one, I pray we can have another one. If I could have 4, great. But it's a very hot topic of conversation under our household roof at the moment because I'm like, he's 10 months. We have to wait 9 months to meet the next one. Let's get on it. Oh, yes.
I love that. I love that so much. We're going to talk about that after. But one thing before you go, I would just love to ask you, Abby, and this is a question selfishly from me. Mm-hmm. So what I'm finding currently is in wanting to in taking work on that, when they're young, like quite young, it then means in the time that I have with him, I just obviously want to spend every second with him.
Yeah.
And then in any time that he's asleep or I have someone looking after him, like my mum or Dalton's with him, I am cramming work because if I don't cram it, then I don't know when else I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
So then I find sometimes I'm going to implode because I haven't done anything for myself. But finding that time and especially when you are I think we're so similar in this pressure to perform all the time and prepare so much and do our best and go above and beyond.
Yeah.
When you have less hours to go above and beyond, you can use every single spare hour working because you're so used to doing that and you can do more prep.
Yeah.
So how do you have a limit of where you have to tell yourself I've actually done enough prep. I have an hour, I'm going to go for a run or I'm going to go, I don't know, go for a walk, whatever it might be.
This is a really good question.
Do you do it or you don't? You just don't.
This is something that I've been really, I don't have a grasp on this.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Because I feel like if Braxy's in daycare a couple days a week, I'm using those days a week to prep, to get on top of my work stuff, and then all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever time I'm picking him up, and I'm going to get him, and I haven't sat on the couch, I haven't read a book, I haven't gone for a walk, I haven't been to the gym, and it's really hard. So I feel like I've got a good grasp on my work and mum. I don't have a grasp at the moment on my training and my food, and that I know that those 2 things play such a big role in how I feel mentally, and it's hard to prioritise the other 2, which you're always going to do. But my training, and you would be exactly the same, when you're training, you're your best version of yourself because you're getting that hit and that fix. And that's something that I'm grappling with at the moment. And what I need to be a bit better in is making time for myself to train. We don't eat badly, don't get me wrong, but there might be times where, Keegs gets home at 6 p.m. and he's having a cuddle with Braxton. I open the fridge to cook dinner and I'm like, I just can't do this. I mean, I've got his food prepared. He's all sorted. I just can't cook. So we'll get Uber Eats and, we're healthy Uber Eats people. But still, it's just feeling like you're not on top of it all the time. Yeah. So that's one thing that I do need to work on. And my trainer, Brad, is probably listening to this because I've got the most supportive trainer who's always trying to encourage me to get into the gym, and he'll anytime, any day, he'll make time just to be there to support me and to help me. But when Brax is at home, I just want to be with him, and I feel like I need that time with him. So I need to find better ways of prioritising things that still make me feel good. The other day I went for a walk for the first time on my own in God knows how long.
I saw you wrote that on social media. Yeah.
Just the feeling of calm, because walking was always my thing. It was always where I started my day. I would do emails. I would get ahead of the day. I would clear my head. And I haven't been doing that. I mean, Brax and I go for a walk every morning, but you're pushing a pram, you're talking to him, you're singing, you're dancing, you're doing whatever you can along the street.
I sing the whole time. And I'm like, people must think I'm a crazy freak, but I don't care.
Hop to the bunnies, hop.
I just only know Baba Black Sheep. I feel like I need to learn some more. But that's
get on the happy song or where it's a treat.
No,
You refuse?
No, I mean, we do it. But and then do you find yourself the happy song singing it just in your own time? Dalton's doing it too. I'm like, This isn't the song we sing like for fun.
It's funny, but I think as you know, he gets older and whatnot, there's just going to be more and more of that, of the singing and the dancing.
Funny.
But yeah, like when I'm doing those things, I'm doing it with him because I want to protect my time with him. But when I went for a walk on my own, I just felt light. I just felt like, I could take a breath and I could drop my shoulders, and that's something that I could recognize makes me feel good. And we don't do that enough as new mums, to put time, effort and energy into making ourselves feel good because we're so worried about making everybody else feel good and feel happy.
And I think it doesn't even make, like, for people that are working, have gone back to work or not, I think it's just as hard to do it. So but it's so important. I was hoping you had got it worked out, but also like it's a lot. So just selfishly, because I was like, help me.
No. And you know what? I'm, a little bit further down the journey, only by 4, 5, 6 months or whatever it is. But, it takes time.
Yeah.
And I still don't feel like I've got it all worked out. We're ever evolving creatures. But as I said, I feel like I've got a really good grasp on the work and
the breast milk.
Yeah, make sure you snooze it and don't cancel it.
I don't want to cancel it, so I leave my milk here.
On mum and work, but I need to put a lot of attention into training and fuel, because those are two things that have always been really important for me and played such a massive part in my life, but I haven't been able to work that out yet. So I'm still trying to find my perfect fit.
And I have no doubt that you will. And I just thank you so much for showing us what's possible. I think you are such an incredible role model for so many women. And I just know so many people that have maybe thought, I can't do both. I can't make it work. You've shown them that you have, and it has not been easy for you. And I think especially you being kind of like the poster woman for going back to work and having to take all of that shit. But because you took it, now someone else won't have to. So we thank you very much.
Thank you, Laws. Thank you for having me. And I love that you've said that, because that's so important for me as well. When I look at, women in broadcasting and sports media and, the comments and the hate that have sometimes been thrown my way along the journey, whether it's for that or becoming a mum and going back to work. But if I would take that 100 times over if it meant that the next person isn't going to have to. So I just hope that, this story, my journey, can help others with their work and motherhood navigation, but also that it just becomes normal and it doesn't become a topic of conversation and it doesn't become a headline. I think that was really unfair, because we should celebrate everybody's journeys completely differently and equally at the same time.
I agree. Maybe in 100 years, unfortunately. I feel like
it's going to
be a while before it's not a headline. But no, thank you so much, Ab. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Laws. Love you.
You too.
KICBump acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the land in which we're recording this podcast, the Yulukit Woolam clan of the Boonwurrung, who are part of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today.